Hello and welcome to Live Racing on Zwiftaholics. I am joined by Nick the Machine from Minnesota Ludwig, doing his first ever Volcano Circuit race. How are you feeling, Nick?
I'm doing good. 5 seconds left, so here we go.
Here we go. Let's go, Idaho. All right, so I'm going to jump in with you, Nick, because no one wants to see me just sitting in the pen. A reasonable sized field here today. And of course, we've got being a 3-hour race, mixed cats. So can you beat the A's, Nick? What do you reckon?
I don't know. That's a tall ask. We'll see.
A little bit,
I'm
but you'll be
always
all
up.
right. I like it. All right, well, we'll try and keep an eye on what's going on in the B graders as well. Lucky you got me here with the Zwift Power up and running, and I can check in on the live results and see exactly who you're racing today for the B grade trophy. You were telling me you've never done a race around this circuit before.
I have not. This will be a first, except for, yeah, this will be my first.
Nice. Well, let's while you're just finding your position, setting up this little ride. This is always a challenging little kicker, isn't it, on this start out of the Watobia pens?
It just sucks. I use hump day ride, after party, no matter what. It just sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, just a little one to warm the legs up, that's all. But you've done nicely here. So I figure you don't really need me in the DS chair for the first 16 or so kilometers of this race. We'll see if we can coach you through the last kilometer or so. Get the
Sounds
dub
good.
today. All right, well, while you're heading out to the volcano, flick on over to the Zwift Power sign up sheet. So we've got, about 2025 B graders here today. We have a look at the 15-second power, because this one is definitely going to come down to some sort of a sprint. Can be a long sprint on Volcano Circuit for sure. But looking at the 15-second power, Armstrong from Nico Oz leads the way, 13.5 watts per kilo. But Nick, you're sitting there in second at 12.3. And what for what? 1,025 versus 1,067. You're stacking up pretty well in this field if it comes down to that short bunch kick.
Okay.
So
This is my way. Good.
how's the kick today? Is it fully loaded, fully primed?
Yeah, the kick is there. I did 100K this morning. You know, we shall see. The legs are a little heavy, but I don't know. You had a hell of a kick there on your race, so very motivating today.
Nice. I'm glad I could. Oh, that was good. That was the tough one. So yeah, so I raced the 3-hour endurance series this morning. They're a lot longer races by design, so more like a 90-minute or 2-hour race. And yeah, that stream is up on Zwiftaholics on YouTube, and there'll be a highlights video coming out for that one as well. First ever race highlights video on the channel, so pretty excited about that.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
I tell you what though, making a highlights video, a 4-minute highlights video. I'm used to doing this live coverage where it takes 4 minutes to make a 4-minute video. I reckon it's going to take me 2 hours to do a 4-minute highlights clip.
Exactly.
All right, so important question, Nick. Have we figured out which way we're going around the volcano?
Yeah, we are going counterclockwise. We go down the chicane, and then that 2-tier kind of kicker. So up to the volcano, it goes flat, and then the last little pitch to the banner.
Alrighty, because that was a topic of some debate between us before this race started, exactly where you were going. So I'm glad we've figured that out.
Yeah. Whew, sure glad I figured it out now.
All right, so heading down here, this is always a nice, one of the only really spots on this circuit, isn't it, Nick, to get a little bit of recovery? you're probably not taking it too easy in the big bunch that you're riding with at the moment.
Yeah, we're still in the lead in. That's crazy.
Yeah, yeah, haven't hit the banner yet. I
No.
don't. You've still got plenty of work to do, my friend.
Yeah, and there's one C grader in our group. Looks like a good handful of A's and B's as well.
Yeah, a bit of a mix. Yeah, you've been sort of near the back. What have we got? 40 or so riders in this front bunch, or maybe even
Yeah.
more. Let me just have a little flick through and see what you're up against. So when we started, big field, 98, but obviously a fairly big C and D and lower end B contingent. So it looks like 39 riders in the front group, and yeah, as you say, a nice little mix of A's and B's.
Somebody's on a mountain bike.
Well, they're going to have a very tough time. They're doing well just to be in this front group, if that's the case.
I hope I beat them.
Yeah, so we do have this famous double rise finish going this direction around the volcano. So you've just been up the first kicker,
Yep.
and then we'll see as you come through here that second little one, which kind of it just shortens this sprint a little bit in terms of distance. You don't want to be going from 300, 350 out because this rise does hurt the legs and really zaps the momentum. And we saw in the Zwift Racing League with our Cheesecake Bombers team when you were commentating that the amount of ground
Oh
that
yeah.
the riders were able to make up coming up this rise was significant. And the feather power up proven to be pretty effective. So Anna Russell did a breakdown on which power up is actually best in this finish, and the feather seems to be the most effective. So I can't see what you're spinning up, but if you do get that feather, that might be worth holding on to.
There are no power ups on this ride.
Oh well, there you go. It's
Yeah.
just down to pure watts, which is good for you because you stack up pretty well in that category.
Yeah, it's a dog eat dog today.
You like? I don't know. How do you feel about racing with power ups versus just straight racing like this?
Um, it's fun. I think with the power ups, it's actually more of a game, as if you're playing on Xbox.
Yeah.
It's makeup, but when you're racing raw like this, I feel this is probably more true to an actual race, if you would say that.
Yeah, I think so. I think the power ups have their place. They're a bit of fun. Remind you that you are playing a video game, even if you are playing
Yeah,
it with your body in the most painful way possible a lot of the time. They do add that mix, and the strategy I think is interesting as well. I mean, I love me, I love all the nitty gritty little details around the
oh yeah.
tactics and things like that. So yeah, the power ups certainly come into the mix when you're thinking about that. But yeah, not today. It's
I
just
think I think if you want to use them effectively, you have to ride Zwift a lot because just because you hit it doesn't mean you're taking advantage of its maximal potential. You got to hit it at the right moment and where it's applicable. You just can't just do it to do it.
yeah, you're not wrong. It's amazing how many power ups you see used indiscriminately and just kind of thrown away. It does.
Okay, you can't use a feather going downhill. It's not going to.
Yeah, maybe even a little bit of an underrated skill, that ability to use the power ups in the right way and in the right spot. I think people maybe underestimate what an impact it can have on a race result. I mean, our race today, this morning, after 61 kilometers, top five separated by a tenth of a second. So no power ups in that race either. That was just straight up. But when those are the margins that you're talking about, that little error reduction or that drafting or that feather power up giving you dropping your watts per kilo, or increasing your watts per kilo but dropping your weight, it can be the difference between first and fifth.
Oh yeah.
We're coming up on 9 minutes of race time in. How the legs feeling now? You starting to loosen up at all from the long ride this morning?
Yeah, I did a little cocoa before this, so that always helps. Uh, no, it's good. Check back on lap 4.
How's the tempo? Is it What sort of watts are you pushing? 3.5, threes?
Yeah, right now 3. Uh-oh. I always get dropped here. I do.
Yeah, it's a tricky spot. It's anytime the group accelerates over a crest like that, yeah, the what you thought was only a small gap actually ends up being a little bit bigger, and yeah, sometimes it pays just putting a little bit of effort, a little bit of extra effort in just to get to the front half of the group before you do drop down and speed of the group increases. But looks like you didn't have to burn too much energy to get back on there.
It is about 8:30 here at night, so a little bit later than what I would normally be riding at. But why not?
Why not? Good fun. Short little sharp race like this. I mean, this will be
Yeah.
what,
So tell us a little bit about your race today.
yeah, it's a bit of race report from the 3R series. So that one's been, yeah, hotly contested and some really tough courses. So, I mentioned that they're by design longer races. So we've been doing routes like PRL half last week. Did Petite Boucle around France today, covering every road in France, both directions apart from the big Mont Ventoux climb. So yeah, 90 minutes of pretty full on racing and yeah, good field rocking up every week. So the individual classification's been tough. And we've got two HDR guys sitting second and third for today. We're waiting to see what the final results are there. And Team AHDR and Z-Sun have been going toe to toe. It's been funny looking at the Strava comments after the ride from Z-Sun and AHDR and seeing what tactics everyone tried and what worked and what didn't. It's been a really good battle. It's these individual races are great fun. They're a good little workout, but I find that the series that span over multiple stages, multiple weeks, you really get to know the
Nice.
riders that you're racing. That's just another level. It's so much fun.
That's cool.
All right, 3 laps to go. So strategy-wise, how does this finish sort of suit you with that, that kicker that's about 500-600 meters out, and then the next one, a couple 100 meters from the line?
I think it's about positioning. Um, not lighting all your matches on that first kicker, and then giving it hell. So
Yeah, I mean, Volcano Circuit, I find both directions, people just can't resist going early when those rises come. So, as we get to that pointy end and I'm watching there, I'll certainly be suggesting that you are very watchful for anyone who wants to make a move early and let them drag you up away from the field. I find, yeah, there's not a lot of joy for anyone who wants to just sit uh, and wait for the pack to try and catch those early sprinters. You really need to go and follow the wheels up that rise.
absolutely.
How are you finding the new pack dynamics? You noticing any difference in those, either on the races or in the group rides that you're doing?
I'm sorry. Say that again.
The new pack dynamics that Zwift rolled out in the latest update?
You know, I would say if you're in the draft, it's pretty sweet. But once you lose that draft, it ain't sweet. It's hard. I mean, before the dynamics, you could drop off a 2.5 ride and kick your way back pretty good within 10, 15 seconds out. But now it's tough. Like you have to push to get back to a 2.5 group ride if you get dropped. So you
Yeah,
got to stay in the draft. You
I
have
found
to stay in.
the same thing. I did a couple of social rides, around that 2.5 watts per kilo. And yeah, if you fall too far back from that, that big pack, yeah, you're sitting at 4.5, 5 watts a kilo just to get back on. But as you say, when you're in the middle, cruisy, seeing like sub 200 watts for me, just being able to sit in. So yeah, it has made a little bit of a difference. We had, a big group this morning, 70 or so riders packed very tightly together, and that side to side motion was making a few people feel a bit seasick. I think it was really jittery compared to what they're used to seeing on Zwift. So I'm a big fan actually in the smaller groups. I think it does look a little bit odd in the bigger ones, but the smaller groups I think feel a bit more natural and look a bit more like you'd expect to see out on the road. So
Right.
it's good fun.
Well, coming down the left chicane again. Yeah, I'm hurting a little bit.
Yeah, well, heart
I'm not
rate's
gonna.
up there.
168.
What's that mean for you? Is that working but not about to blow up, I hope?
No, zone 5 is 171, 172. So I'm at the top end of my zone 4. But I race at a high heart rate. So yeah, I think it just comes with who I am as a person. I mean, it, I run hot. I sweat a lot. It's just, it is what it is. That's why I have difficulties running in Ironman. It's
That is
just, I can't get control.
That's a bad combination for indoor training. Heat and sweat
It
inside.
is. All right, so here's the kicker. I'm gonna try to just sit on, not pushing too much, unless someone goes.
Yeah, you found a nice spot on the descent this lap. That was good. You managed to just kind of cruise through there without having to accelerate and latch on. And
Yeah,
so far, no big attacks going off the front. Sometimes you do see the A's try to shake some of the B's in these mixed cat races through here, but so far everyone's playing fairly nice, although a little bit of stretch going on here. I have a little flick to the front and let you know what's going on up there. So we do have a couple of A's, mixed A and B's pushing sort of 5, 6.5 watts per kilo up this rise, causing a little bit of damage at the back. Nick's safely ensconced in the middle of this group though, so not such a great story for a few at the back. Unknown, that's a good Zwift name, Nick. Unknown from Japan. Could be unknown in the results if you can't close this gap. So that little surge up there has seen him on the wrong end of a 2-second gap. And looks like he's put the Q in the rack. So there's one less B that you need to contend with. We are down to 30 riders. This front group. Rough guess about 50-50 A and B split. It's just working here to just close up this little split that's happened. So at least we've got 6 riders here working together just to close down a couple of meters gap on that leading peloton of about 20, and nicely done in the group there. Looks like we might have hit your zone 5 heart rate though, Nick. I did see 173. A bit of a surge through the volcano there, trying to dislodge a few off the back, and successful by the look of it. Certainly made you have to work a little bit harder.
Oh yeah, I don't like that.
But you need a little bit of pain at this stage of the race just to prep for what's about to come.
Thanks. I will say that's a PR on my volcano lap though.
Well, tell you what, I think you're about to break it again, and probably again after that. That last lap, I am guessing, particularly with these A's driving the pace, is going to be seriously moving. I think you're going to make 5. You're going to wish it was a 5-minute, 16-second lap in the finale.
Right.
Starting to come through some lapped riders now, which always makes things interesting on these short circuits. So Not too many big blobs or anything ahead of you, Nick, but always an interesting one. I don't know if you've done any racing on these, short circuits, Crit City and things like that. When you come across a big pack of lapped riders, it can really throw a race into havoc, and people can take advantage if they really want to surge and make things confusing for everyone. Have you ever had to deal with that on the racetrack?
Yeah, I've gotten dropped from that before. A small group, we lapped. Somebody went off, got that sticky draft, and then I got stuck behind. And I had to work double just to go around it. No bueno. No bueno.
Yeah, the sticky draft, they haven't changed it in the new pack dynamics, but by giving the riders that ability to move left and right more easily and hopefully in a more natural way, it's supposed to help overcome that and avoid you getting stuck when you really don't want to be. But yeah, it remains to be seen. I guess it'll take a while as riders get used to it and get used to playing with it. We'll figure out whether or not it makes a difference to stopping that problem from happening. I'm gonna have a little look while you're busy there. I'm gonna have a little look on Swift Power and see if we can pick out some of your arch rivals today in the B grade group.
I'm going to keep quiet during this last lap.
Yeah, I can understand that. Coming up the rise now. So this is the ultimate lap. We did see some movement up the front of the race, and Nick's wise to it this time, positioning nicely out of way, boy. Out of way, buddy. Making sure he doesn't get caught on the wrong side of any splits. As we do see the field stretching out, coming around to get the bell at the lap banner. Got the last little rise. Nice front group here. Nick sitting in, getting the most of the draft. Couple of riders distanced, and you go through the banner. We get the number one. We're on to the last lap now, about 4 kilometers to go. In this mixed cat race around Volcano Circuit, we're going to stick in commentary mode for a little while, and then as we come around to the critical point of this race, switch back into DS and coach mode and see if we can talk Nick through to victory. First race for Nick around the Volcano Circuit, but he does know this course very well, knows the finish, knows what to expect. He's commentated for us on the Zwift Racing League before. He's seen how the race blows up on that rise, coming up into the volcano. He's ready for that. As we look back to the field, there's been some serious attrition in that surge. Nick holding on brilliantly. We are down to 24 riders in the lead group now, as Wada from Japan drops off the back. 24 riders going to the line. We'll jump back in with Nick. 3 or so kilometers to go. There's still a mix of A's and B's. As we mentioned, it's a 3-hour race, so mixed cats. Obviously, individual grade trophies will be awarded on Zwift Power at the end of this. So Nick could be racing for the B grade race, but on the road, very hard to tell who's who. So it's just a matter of going all in those final few hundred meters. In the sprint, we'll see the kick from Nick, the machine from Minnesota. I'm sure he got that nickname for a reason. And the engine's running pretty well at the moment. He's managed to hold on to some hard surges through the volcano as the A grade has lifted the pace. Looking to drop a few races off the back of the peloton, and they've done so successfully. We started with a group of about 45 riders up the front of this race. We're now down to just 24, testing the finale. A nice flat run through the volcano here. This is the easy passage the interior of the volcano, and then as we go as outside, we'll swing around, come back in for that tricky finish where, as we've said, often we see riders lighting up early, kind of forcing you to decide, you stick with the early move, do you stick with the peloton? And my advice to Nick's going to be just being up in those first few wheels, being extremely mindful, and as soon as someone moves, just latching on, letting them drag him up towards the finish, and then really hitting the gas in those last 200 meters or so, remembering that that rise does stretch that finish out, so you need to go a little bit later than you would on a normal flat finish. Heading down into the chicane now, a little bit of recovery, probably the last chance for these riders to get any recovery. Path through with D-grade riders, so it's in a good spot here. And we've seen it is possible to get gapped as the group accelerates down this rise. Not going to be happening to Nick this time around. He's got plenty of wheels here. And a little bit of stretch in the group. Looks like the pace is lifting as we head into the last couple of kilometers, probably only 1.5 kilometers to go. Going to come down here along the beach and then kick left up that famous last rise. We'll stick with the helicopter camera, try and capture all of the action of this sprint. Head into the volcano. You can see on the minimap we're about to hit that left-hand corner, that rise. It's hiding around that corner. It comes up quickly. We're going to switch into DS mode here. We'll see if we can coach Nick through the finale. So you're coming up to this left-hand turn, Nick, and that gradient is going to pitch up pretty much as soon as you turn. So in a good spot here. Some riders are being gapped at the back. They've missed this surge. We do have some movement at the front. Pace is lifting up to 50 k's an hour. Good stuff. We've got 2 riders pushing at the front. Not enough of a gap though. That's it. Just move up. Try and get into these first 10 wheels or so. That's good. We've got sprint at the front. A grade is going. You're all right. Just hold in. Sit in. You're doing well. Now the B grade is starting to kick. Ingu is going off the front. That's it, Nick. Let him pull up. You got to push up a little bit here. A few hundred meters to go. Got to get closer. Race is going up the road. Got to push. Got to push. Got to push. One more kick. One more kick up this ramp. What do you got? Get out of the saddle. Gotta go, gotta go, gotta go. That's it. Keep pushing, keep pushing, keep pushing. And a couple of seconds left. 5 more seconds. Attaboy, good effort. Good stuff. Good stuff. How are you feeling? I told you you'd be wishing for a 5-minute 16 lap. That was 5 minutes and 8 seconds. That lit up so early up that rise. You just jump in whenever you're able to give us your thoughts on the race. I'm going to have a quick flick over to Power Live data and let's see if we can get the results out of that one. 6th for Nick. Good effort. That was a ferocious final lap there.
There is 4 people who averaged 4.0. 2 guys averaged 5.0 and 5.5.
Wow. In the B grade race? Or those the A graders?
No, I changed it over.
Oh wow. So we might see the judges on Zwift Power come in and step in for the results on that one.
I mean, second place was 3.9. So first place was 5.5,
wow.
3.9, 5.0, 3.8, 4.0, then me, 3.6. And then 7th and 8th were 4.4, 4.5 respectively. So somebody's going to get upgraded.
Yeah, we're going to see. I think the officials are going to be busy with this one. Now, we don't have any results up on Zwift Power just yet. I'll keep an eye on it. How'd you feel? That last few hundred meters, obviously that pace was just so hot, so aggressive, that finale.
Well, I took the I took the recovery approach on that back half, that back stretch flat, and just kind of just try to get my legs underneath me, sit in the blob or sit in the Peloton a little bit. And next thing you know, I saw two people jump off the front, and I thought, uh-oh. And I just seeing how far they were, and nobody else was responding. So I didn't think too much of it. But then by then, we were already at the bottom of that last little kicker, or the first kicker, and it had already stretched. So kind of got caught up in that. Felt good. Still had to hold like 6 watts through even the flat section to make it to the second kicker.
Yeah.
And then I got that second kicker, and it just pop.
Yeah, those two A grade riders sort of set off, and you're right. Everyone kind of just sat and watched for a little bit, and then yeah, I think maybe lulled a few into a false sense of security, and then yeah, it really kicked up and stretched very quickly from that point. Went from a nice little blob to a strung out line in just a matter of seconds.
Yeah. Well, what's interesting is that I actually got faster in the race. So I think that was, for myself personally, like I think that was pretty awesome. 5:08 for a lap on there. I'll take that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting, wasn't it? It really did kick up, that first lap. No real movement through the volcano that we saw, but then yeah, those last 3 times, yeah, leading up to that last lap, 2 fairly strong surges that were, dropping riders. You went from 45-ish to 25 riders in the peloton. So shedding riders off the back, you did well to hold on to that sustained pace, and yeah, that's always going to come back to haunt you and bite when the pace goes on in those last couple of 100 meters. No,
Well,
good
there's
stuff,
always
buddy. That's it. We can go again now. There'd be something else starting. Yeah.
Well, let's put a poll up, and if people vote within the next 30 seconds, and there's more than no yeses and nos, then I'll do it. I might have an accidental Zwift dropout, but we'll go with it.
All right, we better let you go and recover and get to bed on your Saturday night. So,
all right.
Thank you for joining us and letting us watch you suffer and through these hot laps of the volcano. That was good fun.
Yeah, definitely, Adam. As always, I greatly appreciate you, and thank you everybody for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. So, right on, everybody.
Great stuff, Nick. Thanks, everyone. We'll catch you next time.
Cheers.